Shalom, shalom, this is Fallen Yahshua. Welcome again to The Rock, and let me tell you something. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. Let me start off by saying this. Starvation is not a fast. Starving is not fasting. Just like fasting is not dieting. See, people go on a fast, and the first thing they do when they come off the fast is jump on a scale, see how many pounds they lost. That's not a fast. You were dieting. Just be real with yourself. But starvation is not a fast. I had the permission to share this story, but a sister who belongs to one of these groups, camps, these small little camps that are splinters from other camps in the faith, she got in contact with me. She had gotten left. She was with a man, and he left her. And he left her because she had asked a question about the doctrine that they were being taught in this camp. I mean, you can't make this crap up. The doctrine that the camp was teaching, the group was teaching, the elder in the group that came from a camp was teaching, was that starvation, or the reason why this coronavirus is where it is, and the reason why the shelves are bare, and the reason why there is no food, is because Yah's calling his people to fast. And so those who are, preparing and buying food and getting gardens in, they're not understanding, the spiritual aspect of it all, which is really just a call for everybody to fast. All of Israel to fast. Meanwhile, a large majority of the people in that camp, a large majority of the men don't work. They don't work. The women provide for the family, I guess you can call it, which is basically a lot of men moving in with women. And then the women foot the bill. The women are the ones working while the men stay at home and study. The men stay at home and study, and the women go to work. Instead of the women being chase keepers at home, taking care of the house, taking care of the home, raising the children, homeschooling, preparation of food, storing food, getting gardens. Instead of them doing that, taking care of the home, the homestead, they're out working. And the men, they're at home studying. So the women go to work, then come home and have to make dinner and do everything else while the men study. Just ignoring the Bible for what it says. If man does not work, he should not eat. Meanwhile, also, that this man also had, multiple households that he was in and out of. Multiple women that he was with. Calling it righteous polygyny. No, that ain't right. Nothing about that as righteous. You just shacking up with people. Because you too lazy to work. Because you aren't out there hitting it yourself. So you have to go and find people to foot the bill for you. So his excuse for not preparing for this woman and her child is it's a fast. So she should embrace the fast. No, it's going to be called starvation. And right now, she has a little bit of food, but doesn't have much. And she was told that this is a fasting period. And she questioned that, of course. He can't stand by any of that stuff that he's saying. The Bible clearly speaks out completely against what he was saying. It's just a fact that he was lazy and didn't want to do anything and was apathetic and was docile and was a user. So when she started to realize that, he up and left. When she started questioning and said, "Wait a minute, so this is people are going to be dying. It's a fast." And because she asked the question, he left. So then she brought the question to me. Sisters, this is not a fasting period. The fact that there is no food in the shelves is not a time for fasting. It's a time to look at it and say, the prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. Yosef, a wise man who interpreted dreams. When Pharaoh interpreted his dream, or gave him the dream, Yosef did not, when Yosef's brothers came into Egypt looking for food, Yosef didn't say, it's time for fasting. Jacob, it's time for fasting. No. They needed food. They needed food. And they ate food. But in this time today, due to all of this hyper spirituality that people have, basically, what I've noticed is whenever a person does not want to line up with the word of Yah, they become hyper spiritual. Whenever a man doesn't want to work, he becomes hyper spiritual. Whenever a woman does not want to submit, she becomes hyper spiritual. Whenever people don't want to do what the Bible says, they turn to hyper spirituality and their own understanding, which the Bible says don't lean on. It says trust in Yahweh with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. You hear people talking about all sorts of stuff today. People making up all sorts of arguments because they're in disobedience to Yah's word. Men don't want to work. So then they're saying, oh, it's a blessing that I'm in my crappy situation because I don't want to. In reality, you just don't want to work. You don't want to work. Starvation is not fasting. Fasting is not dieting. Sad fact is people don't know how to fast today. Sister, I hope that and sisters that are part of this group, I hope you are able to see, and I hope, and also for all the sisters who listen to this channel, this is why you do not want to be shacked up with some of these game players, with some of these people that are taking advantage of you, telling you that this is a time for fasting because he doesn't want to get his ass up and go do anything. Meanwhile, he's eating. He's just not eating and sharing his food with you. This is the mess that we have. So no, let me answer this question for you. Fasting or starvation, when you're dying from because you don't have food, that's not a fast. That's not a fast. That's starving. That's called starvation. This is the madness that I'm getting in my email right now. These are the things that people are pushing. It's crazy. Just like there's something out there now. Somebody saying, somebody messaged me and said, what is the question he asked? Something about being poor. How did you afford land if you're poor? Or poor people can't buy land. I'm like, what? Who told you that? I bought this land making $10 an hour when I was in Arizona. I just had to make sacrifices, and a lot of them, to get it. I had to make sacrifices for a year. My whole family sacrificed. It's just people are lazy, and people want every excuse to be lazy. And now you're going to start seeing the manifestation of their laziness because in times like these, that laziness, it's revealed. It's revealed. The luxuries that people have had and the laziness and all the things that they've gotten away with are going to be revealed in times like this. They always are. I mean, I'm sorry that I even have to do a video on this, on fasting and starvation. People who fasted abstained from food. That means they had food there and they abstained from it. It doesn't mean they were starving and then just say, hell, this is a fast. I don't have any food. It's a fast. No, that's called starvation. Because fasting is the abstaining from that. I'm probably going to end up having 3 or 4 videos like this. I mean, some of the stuff that y'all won't even believe what I'm hearing. You won't even believe it. Anyways, bless y'all. Hope y'all have a blessed day. We'll probably talk more about this topic on our live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's a mess. It's a mess. Shalom.